I'd give you a quick old rundown on the Suzuki here. So first of all, it's, you know, the tiny little 1.3 litre, which is carbureted. Has a bit of issues sometimes, like today. I blew a spark plug and put a new spark plug in, that fixed it. So it's always simple things. It's got the 5-speed transmission in it. It's what do you call it, leaf sprung front and rear on solid axles. Nothing special with the tyres. They're just small. Actually popped both sides going down the paddock. So I got these are new tyres and the other two are the older ones. And they're on Sunraiser rims. But besides that, the driveline and suspension is pretty much the same. No lift, no special tyres, nothing like that. So on the bull bar, which is just the stock bull bar, I didn't come with any mounts for like spotties or aerials or anything like that. So I've made up and welded onto the bar mounts for all my accessories. I've got the 9-inch illuminators. They put out a heck of a lot of light. A lot of spread and not too much distance, but just enough that I need. I've got my CB aerial here. No idea what brand. I think it's just a cheapie. And also down the front I've got some kind of like fog lights. They're not too bad. If you're just running the halogen lights, well, they help, that's for sure. They point out to the sides a bit more. But on these halogen lights, these are actually upgraded from the sealed beams to semi-sealed beams with the H4 globes in them. They're not too bad. They were cheapies off Gumtree, I think. All the wiring, it's a bit messy. Might have to sort it out one day, but it's all just run into the stock wiring loom for the illuminators, and the rest is all wired up myself. I've got an idle up switch here, which is this one down there. That runs into this little vacuum actuator thing here. And I've got a switch in the cabin. That top one there, and it makes the car idle up. This switch here is for the fog lights, and this one here is for the illuminators. So lately I've been fixing up all the rust in the car. This is just some of the latest stuff I've had a go at. As you can see, it's just eaten away that whole area. If you look underneath the dashboard, it's a lot worse. And then there's up the pillar here, 2 little bits. I've bogged those and painted them. And up the back corner over there on the outside, there's a big splotch of rust as well. Not much different in the cabin. It's just, I've got these like Seagate plugs there, because that one broke and I couldn't be bothered fixing it. So I just made this plate up here, because there was no kind of, whatever you'd call that. So that's where I put my CB radio and my charging Seagate sockets. This is a CBS, it's just an old GME. But besides that, it's not too bad. I've got tomato sauce bottle full of fuel because well, the accelerator pump doesn't really work even though I fixed it. So I've got to get onto that again. So you just pour a bit that down the carby and she starts right up. Also in the cabin I've got some little 4-inch aftermarket speakers. They're in the original housings, so it all looks factory, but they're upgraded. Definitely has got better sound, but a little bit louder, but it's not much of an improvement. Better than speakers that don't work though. The window winder snapped off a good year or so ago, so I've just put a pair of vice grips on it and they work perfectly fine. Over in the back here is where it gets a bit special. So I've got this kind of false floor here. I made that up a month or 2 ago, and this one I made up probably a year ago. That one was designed to hold my fridge first up and just be able to put stuff under. And I've got this tub on top which holds like a tin like that. That's got all my stuff for making tea in it. It holds the first aid kit, glasses, rubbish bin over the side, fire extinguisher down the side here, you know, just in case. Underneath here, behind that water bottle, is a toolbox with all the tools in it that you pretty much need to fix this car. 2 little blocks of wood, they get me out of a lot. If you ever get hung up on a rock, you just chuck those under your tyre. And the handbrake also doesn't work, so you just chuck those under your tyres as well, if you're on a steep hill. This little drawer I made with a homemade handle, just pull it out. Usually I'd have camping gear in here, but this is just normal stuff. Jumper leads, tarp and another box that's got fuses and stuff like that in it. Closes up. Now down in this little section, this is usually where my camp chair goes, it's a perfect spot, but I've just got my recovery kit in there at the moment. But as you can see, it kind of goes down the back to the back chair. Now we've got the back table. I made this up. You just flick the little dodgy kind of latch up. It folds down to almost a kitchen. Got a nice bench top here, held up by chains. Couple more spare parts in there. 2 sets of everything, like knives and forks. Bit of newspaper, bit of bog roll, and spatulas and all that type of stuff. And that just shuts up. But if I ever need to get something out, like pull a chair out or something, and it's too hard to latch it, you just push it up, and it's got magnets on it. And then you can latch it for your drives. I do also have another Siggy socket in the back. That's for running my fridge. I don't have dual batteries, so it just runs when the car's going, which is a bit of a bummer, but it's there anyway. My recovery points down the bottom. I bent my tow bar doing a pretty solid snatch pull out of a bog, and I bent that up. It's around here. I did a video on it, but like it's rusted now and all bent up, really out of shape, couldn't get it back. So instead, I just put some recovery points where the tow bar used to mount. I have a shovel on the back that's just held on by ocky straps and this cable tie sort of thing. There's nowhere else really to put it except inside, but when you're digging yourself out of a bog, you don't want a muddy shovel inside, so it's a good spot on the back there, just lives there all the time. Underneath, it's got a straight pipe, like no flow through muffler, nothing, it's just straight pipe from the engine out the back with a little kind of homemade sort of spark guard. Don't know if that works, but alright, so that was just a quick little video on the old girl, saying what I've got in her, what I've done to it. It rarely breaks down, and if it does, it's usually just something simple like a spark plug. The only bad thing about it really is the rust. Rust is everywhere on it. An old car. I've been working for the past couple of days to just sort it out, but I'm getting there. But obviously more's going to come up. Like there's a lot more in the door here. You can see all the bubbles popping up. I've already scraped a bit back there, but I've got to fix all that. But the thing is, all the paint's faded, so you can't really get the right match. As you can see, like it's a different colour blue. Alright, cheers for watching. I'm going to take it for a drive now.